Alright, so far we have this button, add new student. Whenever we click on it, we get this modal that says hello model with and D. In this video, let's go ahead and add a form inside of this model so that we can add new students to our database. So the very first thing that I want you to do is to open up a new tab and search for and then Mic. So right here, this very first GitHub link, click on it. You can see that this is a library that allows us to work with forms with React. So in case you don't know, when it comes to React and forms, React is not really, it doesn't give you the best experience. So developers usually tend to use Redux Form or libraries such as Formic, but I even argue that developers should really be using Redux Form, because Redux Form gives you a state of your form throughout the entire application, whereas you only need the state of your form inside of a component. And that's what we're going to do in this video. So this library is really straightforward to use, and go ahead and click on Get Started. And you can see that they have an overview, the actual motivation, and why not Redux Form, right? So this is what I was saying. And, basically they just say, this is how you install it. And then they have like the gist. So this is really how you use it. So let's actually go ahead and install Formic and also create a form component that will contain all the text fields for our form. So go ahead and open up VS Code. And if I open up my terminal, and then let me actually stop this. So Control C, clear the screen, Control L, and let me go ahead and say npm install -- save, and then Formic, and then enter. Just give a second while it's downloading Formic. And there we go. So that's done. And if I open up the package.json, if I scroll up, you should see that now we have Formic right here. And the version is 1.5.2. Now go ahead and close package.json. And if I actually start the server, so npm and then start. There we go, it's up and running. Now if I close the terminal, and inside of src folder, let's go ahead and create a new folder and let's call it forms. So basically later down this course, we will have another form that will allow us to edit students. So go ahead and create a new file and then simply name it as add and then student and then form.js. And let's go ahead and import React. So import React from and then React. And let's also go ahead and import Formic. So import and then Formic, just like that. And then from, and then this will be Formic. So now let's go ahead and simply have a class. So simply go ahead and say class and then add student and then form extends and then component. So go ahead and simply import the actual component from React. And within it, what we're going to have is simply a render method. And inside of this method, what we want is actually the Formic component. So let me go back to the docs, and right here, if I scroll down in the actual gist section, you can see that is really straightforward. So you can see that they have a div, and then they have the actual Formic initial values, validate, and then submitter, and then a bunch of other things. So what we're going to do is actually grab everything from here. So we want to see it work first. So go ahead and grab the actual div and then go back to VS Code and then simply say return. And then we want to return the actual div. So I'm going to paste that in. And if I indent this, and there we go. So now if I expand this so you can see everything, and let's actually go ahead and try and save this and go back to Chrome, and we should see that we have a form. So if I click on add new student, no form, and that's because, yeah, so we didn't actually add this to our main component. So let's actually do that. So let's go ahead and open up the actual app.js. At the very top, let's go ahead and import the actual form. So import add and then student form from, and then this will be dot and then / and then forms, and then add student form. So we also forgot to actually export the actual form. So let's go ahead and simply say export and then default and then add student form, and then save that, open up app.js, and then scroll down, and what we want is right here. So right here, so inside of this modal, let's simply go ahead and add the actual form. So add student form, and this will be a self-closing tag, just like that, and then save it. Now let's go back to Chrome and then add new student, and there we go. Next, let's go ahead and customize this form according to our needs.